because you weren't sure about when it was going to happen. So if you've got any questions or any comments to make, could you please identify yourselves for the record, because obviously Beth doesn't know who anybody is. And obviously we send our best wishes to Gemma, which is actually giving birth. Right, so first part of the agenda is for members of the public. We can take questions from the members of the public for 15 minutes, and then we start the agenda for the councillor. So, are there any members of the public want to say anything or speak?
Yeah, mentioned it a few months ago. We said we've got £200,000 to safeguard Shepherd's Field. We've submitted this documentation to Special Policies Act of Parish Council. This money's already been spent. It was £288,000, it's been spent in Wakefield. Councillor Massey can confirm this, so this needs withdrawing.
Is there a question there, or?
Well, why are we saying we've got £200,000 to safeguard Shepherd's Field educational money when it's already been spent?
I don't know. I've no
I have
idea.
proof from Wakefield that it's been spent on schools around Wakefield area. So it's false information, it needs withdrawing.
Where's the information? Sorry, what's the information that
It's what's Ackworth Parish Council submitted along with the road that we're going to support us out of the school road.
and that's from when?
This is from 2020.
Right.
But at the time this was submitted, it had already been spent. Is that right?
If you send that information in to the clerk, then it can be.
I shouldn't have to send this information. You should know this when you're saying you've got the money to spend. And I asked the clerk last time, and I said, what in their bank account? No. I've got it from Wakefield. It shouldn't be my job. This parish council shouldn't be stating that they've got money to spend to safeguard Shepherd's Field, and they haven't.
Well, I'm assuming you don't expect me to have the answer to that.
Councillor Massey just passed you the information on.
Yeah.
Just to help with that.
Well, can I? This is for the members
Sure.
of the public.
Yeah.
As a councillor named in the question, have you got anything you want to add?
I think it's that what I've just passed over to you, that it's got to be that 106 money. I think with that information I didn't know actually because it's not going to be here. So with that information, how the money's been spent and with the confusion, what we were discussing earlier, I don't understand how the 106 money was allocated. I've got times and dates when it was spent and where it went.
Yeah.
But alas, it hasn't come to yourselves here. So I'm not sure on this extra £288,000 where that has been allocated to. So that's a black hole that I don't know about. All I know is that the 3 payments which have been done to 3 schools within Wakefield area,
Yeah.
and each worth between £92,000 and £98,000.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, I'm confused. I've checked with Wakefield, they explain one thing, then it's come back. I think it's historically how they was managing the 106 month early on and they changed the rules later on. That's only way I could figure it out. So in normal pretense, what I've got, the information, is the money would normally come to yourselves from strata. It's all about the strata bill. So you should have been allocated some money. But it's when the strata bill, 2014 or 15?
8 years ago, what's that, 15?
So I think the rules were different then.
Yeah.
So the allocation was that it would have gone to schools what were needed. So if they were building in the area, as they explained to me, your pupils from this new build may have gone to these schools what they've in here. So that's what I'm getting at. But I'm not sure it's my speculation that's what they're explaining. And like I said, I'm confused. But I haven't seen anything sign anything else up, so I ain't signed anything else. So I don't understand where that money is. All I know is what has been spent.
I mean, that's, it sounds to me like there's some confusion over the issue. If you want to put it in
Can
a...
I just clarify it, please? I got proof in information that money had already been spent. There's no money, more money to come from development, from Wakefield Road Strata, for example. It was spent by 2019. So why have we submitted, saying we've got in the region of £200,000 to safeguard Shepherd's Field for educational purposes?
I didn't hear the last bit, sorry, what did you say, Sean?
I've got why have we submitted the documentation when you agreed for the South Featherstone Link Road? It's on the same documentation, special policy. I'll give you a copy of that. We've got 2 copies already. Why have we submitted that when we didn't have the money? When it's already been spent?
Well, like I said, I can't answer that.
Well, somebody needs to answer it because we're members of the public, but we need to know where this money goes.
If you can put that into some kind of form and send it to the clerk, then that can be dealt with by the
Well, why can't this parish council contact Wakefield like I do? It's not my job to do it. When you're stating you've got £200,000 that's already been spent and you haven't got it, it should be withdrawn, so check it. I can give it you, but I'm not prepared because I've had a lost rascal from this parish council. I had a false complaint put against me and it cost the taxpayers thousands of pounds and I've cleared everything, never even got an apology.
Okay, thank you. Any other members of the public who want to ask anything? Phil?
Last meeting we were talking about crossings again, or potential crossings, and you mentioned one on Doncaster Road, sorry, on Barnsley Road.
Yeah.
When we were canvassing to get a crossing, you were canvassing to get one on Doncaster Road, not Barnsley Road, so I could get down to his door.
Wakefield.
So,
Well,
and that's there. If you put one on, if it goes on and on and on like this one, rather than people accepting what's goes on, they'll be arguing about it forever. If we get the right place, once we start talking about another crossing, which...
so do you want the council to proceed on getting a crossing?
Yeah,
On
it wants to be on
Barnsley
638, not
After
after
the
the
round
way,
road.
going on Doncaster Road.
After the
In
round
fact,
road.
it's already got the drop curtain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, like we said before, we can only make
Yeah.
representation to it's Wakefield Highways,
Yeah,
obviously,
I know
we do
that.
that. But yeah, if there's some confusion about Doncaster Road, Barnsley Road, then that needs to be
Yeah.
clarified before we do that, and we can take that forward from the council. I'll speak to Clark about that and make sure it's Barnsley Road rather than Doncaster Road.
now it wants to be Doncaster Road, not
Yeah.
Barnsley
No,
Road.
sorry, the other way around, yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you
Okay.
mean, yeah.
Both are problems. Can I just link that previous one? We did do a motion.
In a minute, there's just
Oh yeah.
members of the public want
Just to come back to the crossing, me and Councillor Massey, under the petitioning, I see guys being out to drive, put petitioning, we had it into the East Jeffreys, they dismissed the crossing on Doncaster Road because they said this one went in. But how does that dismiss the crossing on Doncaster Road when this is Wakefield Road, this side of the road, that's east and this is west? They've dismissed it.
I'll cover it in my bit if you want.
Yeah, okay. Any other members of the public want to speak?
Yeah, I note that the parish is still avoiding or not forthcoming in answering freedom of information questions and trying to use on the grounds of excessiveness as a reason. At the finance meeting on the 20th of September, the item was to review and recommend for an adoption a habitual and vexatious complaints policy for the council. And you've again included a section in today's agenda request. I find it totally frustrating, and I've now written to the IOC, just to let you know, to try and get answers out of the parish. That simple questions are being avoided. You're trying to use excessiveness as a standard reply to all questions. I have every sympathy for the new clerk, basically, because she's inherited this, which has been left. Yeah? And many of the current councillors were present when these questions were asked. But the majority of questions I'm asking require a simple yes, we have, or no, we haven't. Not as an answer, but the chair said, put these in writing, which I did, and then I get its excessiveness. So you can understand why I'm frustrated. I question if I and others had not been chasing the £10,500 SIL money awarded to the doctor's car park back in 2020, whether it had still been sitting floating around in the ether. It's only since people started saying what's happened to that money that at your last meeting you turned around and said it's now back in your coffers. So the questions come to Low Ackworth Community Centre that have been raised. I have no problems with a community centre down in Ackworth per se, but I have got questions basically in how it's being run. And it makes me want other questions. How many years, so this is for the questions I would like answered, are there on the current lease of the fields? Before spending any monies on it, have you gained permission from the current landlord to develop the site? A yes or no would be quite simple. Or have you got an agreement in principle from them that you can carry out the development on the site? What is the current budget for the project? As you appear to be looking for a project manager, a figure will suffice. So you must have a figure in mind if you're actually saying, well, or you're pointing someone to a job that you don't even know what they're going to spend. And has this money been allocated from the precept tax revenue you was asked for this year? A yes or no will suffice. These are just simple questions. Why are we, has it got, put it in writing, oh, they're not going to answer you. It's excessiveness. Do you understand my frustration?
I understand your
Right, thank you.
I understand the questions. There are answers to the question. Obviously, I haven't got the answers here. That's not what we're here for. But I think if you put that
in writing and get excessiveness again, that's what I'm worried about. I will put it in writing to you. I've got no problems with that. And I don't want to be called that I'm habitual or vexatious. I'd also like to know if you're saying it's vexatious, that you write that back to me, so I can send that off to the IOC as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I apologise for getting my wrath, but I just like answers to questions.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, that's perfectly, anybody is perfectly entitled to send in questions to the council, I'm sure. It has been a difficult year with the changeover of clerk, and a lot of the things that have been lost in the ether, lost in the changeover of the clerk and the changeover of the council after the new elections. So I think there are things that have been left that should have been dealt with, and there have been issues around the SIL money and confusion around that. So I think that that needs to be pushed forward. So I'll speak to the clerk. That will go down on the minutes and deal with that. Okay, thank you.
Yes. I wasn't sure if we were going to ask this, but following that, I think I will anyway. So, first of all, I'll just be open at the start. I'm still saying that I work for central government, so I understand your frustration there. I'm not sure we'd use that as a reason to just stop blanket FOIs. That's not the purpose for them. We should be transparent and open in all governance, which is including yourselves. One of the things that I think is really important for all you guys is to be transparent and open, because I'm not sure that you've got public trust at the moment. And what just really simple things, like why does the website not have anything in terms of spend over £500 since March 2022? I mean, that's not transparent whatsoever. Some of the governance, they are questions, well, that's what one's a question, some of this is observation, which are some questions as well. The self-funding is another interesting one. I actually put an FYI in about this, and one of the papers that wasn't included all of a sudden miraculously appeared on the website in terms of the three options for that. I'd like to understand the decision making behind just splitting £200,000 three ways equally when all projects are most certainly not equal whatsoever. Gym equipment, build of a community centre with, as has already been pointed out very clearly, no costing, and then fitting out community centre, gym equipment, and then building another one. They're totally completely different projects with different levels of spend. I'd love to understand the decision by just blanket going, we'll split the money three ways, when some of the external stuff I've then seen leads me to believe that you have to then go out and do a consultation of public to spend money that you get a loan on. There's some financial fiscal elements of that. We've got interest to pay on things. Like if we've got some money there, we've got to pay interest on. Sure, that's got to come into the decision-making process somewhere. And then just touching on the Low Ackworth Community Centre, the working group voted, and this is just another observation. I'd love to understand this council's sort of consideration of value for money, which comes down to a couple of things, but the working group voting for option 5 for A5 flyers at £640 for 6,200 flyers. I used to work in an industry where we used to use flyers all the time. I did a quick search, you get 10,000 for £137. It doesn't seem like value for money to me. It doesn't seem like it's been costed properly. nor does it when you start to look at other things around the community centre and just getting blanket prices per square foot and almost accepting that. And I totally accept the point made around a project manager for a project that's not even fully scoped by the appearance that I can see. So I guess the questions there are, why isn't there the expenditure from March 2022 on the website? It needs to be transparent, that needs to be on there, it needs to be on there monthly and or quarterly, including all the other stuff. Why was the sales money split 3 ways equally? It seems like a bizarre decision. And what is this council's sort of, I guess, emphasis on value for money? Because it's my money that you're spending.
Okay, thank you. You've got, I mean, there's quite a list of things there. So, I mean, have you sent that in as an email to the clerk?
No.
No.
I can do that, that's fine.
Well, I think that's the way forward. If you can...
I'd like to think that you could commit, it's not a difficult commitment to say we'll be transparent and publish our financial affairs on spend over £500, not out of date by 20 months. I mean, it's got a comment on there saying, please be patient with us. It's been there for quite a while, my patience is running out. That's my main one really, please just be transparent, that's the commitment part.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it's important to the people who pay, you know, your tax in the village need to know what's happening with the money. You know, there are obviously checks and balances in every committee,
Appreciate that.
and all the rest of it. Like for example, the low Ackworth issue, it's been voted on by full council. We're going ahead and we're entering a process. Excuse me, we're entering a process that is very strict because it's government money that we're looking to borrow. So that has to be, you know, the first part of the process is putting it out to tender to get a better idea of what it's exactly going to cost. So that's one of the issues. So something like that, we are very strictly, you know, we do follow the protocols that we have to follow because it's treasury back to money, so we have to do that. And that's frustratingly, that's why it takes so long. Well, you'll know that working for government, but that's why things take so long. It isn't a matter of identifying something and allocating money to it and then spending that money. It is a long process, and it has to be. We have to be seen to be doing it right. Otherwise, you know, you can hit the brick wall at the end of the day. So, but I think you raised some valid points, especially about the money and the website. We are in the process of changing the website. We've got a meeting on Thursday night, I think, about the change to the website, and that will include that can be included in that. It might be useful if you just identify some of the points you've made and email them through. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Can I just give you the information also? I just wanted to point out that regarding the first bit of the 200,000k, I think it probably links to what we put a motion on. We agreed a motion, the clerk investigate into the 200,000 education fund and report back to the council the findings, and we voted for that last month. So that, I think, links to that. So we should. There are efforts to get the information, and we should get it reported back. I just wanted to not miss that link. That's all.
Thank you. Right, so we'll start the agenda. First item is a reminder by the Chair of the Council's expectations of the audio or visual recordings of this meeting. The Parish Council meeting may be recorded under the openness of local government regulations 2014. Devices are to be placed on the table provided throughout the meeting, and we're obviously recording this for our notes as well. Item 2, apologies. To receive apologies for absence given in advance of the meeting. Have we...
Councillor Roberts, Councillor Hall and Councillor Balfour.
Okay. Consider the approval of reasons given for absence. Do we all agree with it? Right, yeah. You just take a show of hands on. Yeah. Excuse me. Declarations of interest and dispensations. To receive any declaration of interest not already declared under the Council's Code of Conduct or a member's register of disclosable pecuniary interest on items on the agenda. To receive, consider and decide upon any written applications for dispensation for disclosable pecuniary interest, and to grant any requests for dispensations as appropriate. Have you received?
No.
None received, so there's nothing to vote on. Right, okay. Item 4 on the agenda, to receive available reports from the following. 4.1 in your packs is the crime stats. You've all had them in your packs, so you've all had time to look at them. Are there any observations, solutions? No? Okay. I would hope that, you know, in the future, we would, there's been a West Yorkshire Police and Crime Commission have said that they're going to increase the number of PCOs and people on the beat. So I would hope that at some point we will get somebody to come and actually talk about what's been happening in Ackworth, as used to happen. But you know, at the moment, this is the best we can do, and thanks to the office staff for kind of printing all this out and all the rest of it. The 4.2, item 4.2, Wakefield Metropolitan District Councillors, and we've got Councillor Massey here. Have you got a report?
Only answering the questions from last meeting, the residents were only about the bin what got moved from the new crossing. I put that in for either a bin to be put back or to find a suitable place close by because of the amount of litter that's been dropped. On the front of